So for countless years, you have tried to convince me of the glory that is MMOs. And just recently you've actually added one more MMO to your collection, which again you're claiming is really, really cool. So tell me why Rift is so cool.
Well, that's a good point to start.
Yeah.
Why is Rift cool? Rift in many ways is a classic MMO. The typical kind of what you've seen in countless other MMOs.
Way to sell it to me, by the way.
Yeah. It's exactly like World of Warcraft. Awesome. No, but Rift is very much a classic MMO in that you have your character, you level up, you get loot, you kill monsters, you kill 10 rats, and then you kill 10 other bigger rats, and you have a world to explore, and all that kind of basic MMO stuff. If you ever played one, especially games like World of Warcraft or Lord of the Rings Online or EverQuest or whatever, you'll get right into Rift. It won't be a problem. You though, you're a big nub, so let's not talk about you. But yeah, at the basic, that's Rift. Of course, Rift looks very good. As I said, exploring the world is a treat because Telara, the world that it takes place in, the graphics are really good, and it looks and feels like a modern MMO, and the world is very inviting. Just run around and check all that, add all the details and stuff like that. So in that way, it's great. I've never. It's a long time ago that I felt that at home in a modern MMO.
I am tempted to ask, why should I care though? No, I'm just coming.
I've been trying. I've been trying to get him to play with me, but he just.
I've heard a lot of good stuff, not the least from you about Rift, and I'm really interested to find out what makes this more than most of the other.
That's of course the thing. With all that basic MMO stuff out of the way, that works. It's really good. Okay, let's move on. Rift has, of course, as the name implies, Rift has rifts, which is basically like holes in reality. You see a hole opens up in the sky, and there's tentacles coming out, and then there's monsters that spawn around, this this place, and it can happen more or less anywhere in the world. They spawn now and again, and you have to band together with other players to take down either monsters or complete certain objectives to close these rifts again. And that's a big part of the gameplay. And also, together with the rifts, you have what is called invasions, which are basically enemy troops moving across the map. And in traditional MMO, the MMO tradition is that roads are always safe. More or less the thing, I can walk from point A to point B. As long as I follow the road, I won't run into any mobs. Not so much in Rift, where invasions actually tend to use the roads. So you might suddenly end up in like 4 or 5 undead that are beating you. And of course you have to...
cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. No, but it creates this feel of that it's a dynamic world.
Yeah, I was going to say it.
Of course, it really isn't. It's just as static as in all MMOs, more or less. But it creates this feeling that shit is going on all the time.
No.
And at some points you have these big zone events where suddenly there's a huge invasion, and you can look at the map and see the rifts, and they're just popping everywhere. There are invasion troops moving. They're everywhere on the map. You have to find a group together with other players to defeat them, and then when you've finally done that, a boss spawns. And this again creates this feel that there's always something going on.
So Rift seems to be a game that rearranges the rules of what most know as an MMO, sort of at least. But one of the big problems with new MMOs always seem to be the stability, balance, everything technical. How is that side of Rift?
Yeah, that's probably the most impressive part about Rift is how stable it is. It is almost ridiculously stable. If you've seen many MMO launches as I have, you tend to know that during the first couple of days it's going to be more or less unplayable, but you're still there for some stupid masochistic reason. But Rift has been working very well. The biggest problem has been queues for some of the most popular servers, and of course that's really annoying for the people that ended up in them. But the servers are really stable, more or less no obvious bugs. The rifting works very well. It's really impressive to see like 60 people on a screen at the same time with no lag and no like really annoying frame rate drops. It never becomes a slideshow. Of course, that might be my computer as well, but most what I've heard from other people as well, which don't have as good rigs as I do, their experience is the same thing.
So how about the classes in Rift?
Yeah, that's also a thing that Rift does really well is the class system, because when you have 4 what they call callings, which are your basic traditional MMO class archetypes, which is the rogue, the warrior, the mage, and the cleric, which is of course a healer, and a typical holy trinity kind of thing, the tank, healer, DPS. Well, what you have after you've chosen this, and that every class, and I might make this sound more complicated than it actually is, but every one of these callings can choose between 8 souls, as we call it. And every soul is more or less a talent tree, if you know that from other MMOs.
Of course.
And of course Diablo 2 has talent trees as well.
League of Legends.
For MMO nodes, it's better to
Shut up.
easily explain it. But you have 8 souls to choose from, and each of these souls are like for example, I'm playing a rogue, so I can choose between 8 souls, which include the assassin, which is more the typical rogue, stealth around and stab things in the back, to the marksman, which is a ranged rogue with a bow, and to even a healer rogue, which is a bard. Never doing that again. You have that more or less in all these callings that you can pick and choose. You even have tank rogues. At any given time, you can have 3 of these souls activated, which means that you can pick and choose, and you can combine, and you place points in the different talent trees, and you can come up with a combination that you like, that you enjoy playing. Of course, some of the combinations just won't work, they won't be very effective, but at least you have the option to play a very ineffective character. And that makes there's a lot of experimentation. I've wasted so much on my gold just respecking and trying a new combination and seeing if this works and that works. And that's a lot of fun, and that adds to the whole
Kind of sounds like a hell to balance for the developer though.
Yes, it's going to be terrible. I don't envy the people in charge of balancing. They said in some interview that they can't really balance it completely, and considering that games like World of Warcraft, which has like 8 classes, I believe, they're not done balancing their classes after 7 years, and of course I don't think they're going to spend much time on that. Okay. But it's a lot of fun in that way, that you really can find the combination that works for you. Of course, some combinations you just end up with a rather typical kind of class combinations. But yeah, it adds a lot to the game.
So is Rift an MMO for a noob, like you keep calling me, like me, or is it more for the hardcore, like you who have played almost everything in this kind of game?
Well, if you don't like MMOs, if you know from the start that the classic MMO formula isn't for you, then Rift probably won't be for you. If you played a lot of World of Warcraft and feel like, okay, this is not my kind of game, Rift won't be for you. If you, for the old players that are used to this kind of gameplay and love this kind of gameplay, yes, it's definitely for you. I think everybody should give Rift a try at least, to see if it's for them. For you, I don't know. I don't think you would be able to tie your own shoelaces in an MMO. Seriously. So probably not for you.